Please wait to scroll down. A moment. What is worship? What is the real meaning of the word worship? If someone asks you a question such as that, what's your response? Many people outside there think that worship is a style of music. That's say sweet music, music of a slow speed, music with sweet voices. But what is worship? Some suppose worship to be a practice of going to church every Sunday or every Saturday or any other day. Some people really think that going to church is worship, and that's what they know. But the question still stands, what is worship? Some suppose worship to be kneeling down and bowing down, prostrating to the ground while praying. Some people think that's worship. But can that alone define what worship is? The question will still stand, what is worship? What is the real meaning of the word worship? The Bible states in the book of John, chapter 4:23, that God the Father of all seeketh those to worship him in spirit and in truth. God, such are the true worshippers who worship God in spirit and in truth. Meaning that true worship comes from a true worshipper. But still, what is this true worship? Is it a slow song, as some suppose? Is it going to church on Sunday, on Saturdays, or any other day, as some people state? Is it bowing down on ground? Is it prostrating? Yeah. Is it kneeling? What is worship really? Here is the answer. Worship is not a feeling. Worship is not a vibe or a seasonal practice. Worship does not come from practice. Worship is to live a life when God is the first priority in all areas of your living. I repeat, worship is to live a life when God is the first priority in all areas of your living. That's worship. The moment you set God above your wills, your preferences, your tastes, that's worship. It's not seasonal. It's not something which comes out of practice. Worship is a life. Worship is a style of life. It's not a style of music. It's not a way of kneeling down. It's not a way of bowing to the ground. It's not a way of walking. But worship is a style of life. Worship is to prioritize God in everything. Before you do anything, ask yourself, what does God say about this which I'm about to do? Before you react, before you attack, before you fight any battle, does it line in God's will or not? If it doesn't line in God's will, because you prioritize God, eventually you should leave it. Why? You are a true worshiper who worships God in spirit and in truth. Jesus was speaking to a Samaritan woman, and Jesus informed her that now it is the time that the true worshippers will worship God in spirit and in truth. Will no longer worship God from mountains, but they will worship God from the center of their hearts. That's true worship. Worship is not singing. Worship is not a style of music. Being a worshiper means that you prioritize God. Now, when you reach this level in spirit, you're going to church, you're kneeling down, you're prostrating, you're singing. All of your ways of living becomes worship. Why? You prioritized God in everything. At this point, you will no longer go to church because you're bored at home or because you have nothing to go, but because God is your first priority, you will go to church. You will go for gathering. It is not because you are bored, but because you prioritized God. So you can go to church even if you have a lot of stuff to accomplish. At this point, you will no longer sing because it's your talent, because you're talented, because you've got a nice voice, but you will sing because God is your first priority. At this point, you will do things not because you can, not because you are talented, not because you're gifted, but because God is the first priority in your life. So you will no longer do things because you have nothing to do. There are people who go to church because they have nothing to do, because they have no work, because they were chased from jobs. So after being chased from a job, that situation creates for him time with God. But initially, he could not go to church because of the job. It means his job or her job is the first priority in his or her life. If you are to be a true worshiper, God must be prioritized first in everything. Some people are not thieves because they are well off, but not because they fear God. No. Some people fear AIDS. That's why they are not adulterers. But it's not that they fear God, but they fear AIDS. Those are not worshippers of God. Some people no longer go to bars because they fear something else other than God. So, any life which prioritizes the God, that life worships God. So true worship comes from putting God in the first place of your life, giving God the first priority. God bless you.